Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Doing good. I had a good day today, David. I went into Audrey's bookstore.
Oh, did you go to Tom Barrett's?
I went to Tom Barrett's book launch, Backpacker's Journey, a reporter's walk on the wild side of life. There's Tom, our friend Tom, that you worked with at the Journal for many years, who I've known for 50 years.
Wow.
And thankfully, he got the book finished. Basically, the story's all written. And he's now been committed to memory care, and he's got Alzheimer's, so he wasn't even able to attend the thing. But his wonderful partner Donna McKinnon was there, and she read 2 or 3 chapters out of this fantastic story. I'm really looking forward to reading this book. Tom is a very interesting character indeed.
I'll have to go. So, I wonder if he wrote about the Grant Fuhr. Tom Barrett and I did the Grant Fuhr story.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that must be. I didn't have a chance to look at the table of contents yet.
Pretty funny stuff that happened on that part 2 of it.
Yeah. I remember reading you guys. This was back in the day when the Journal was the news. Got it in the morning mailbox, and there's above the fold on page 1, not the sports page. It's Grant Fuhr is in big trouble by David Staples and Tom Barrett, in whichever order it was. And I'm going, well, I know Tom and I know who David is, and of course now I know both of you guys. But that was a big frickin' story at the time, and good old investigative journalism, eh?
Yeah, on that one,
Tom was a crackerjack at it.
He really was, and I don't even know if I should talk about this, but there was a story that there was a photograph of, I'm not going to say who, of a hockey player snorting cocaine from the Stanley Cup.
Oh yeah.
And we worked hard to get that photograph, and we never. So I don't know if it's real or not, but we heard about it. Right. We worked for a long time getting that one, and that's quite a story. I don't wonder if Tom talked about that. All right, Bruce.
Yeah. Anyway, very well wishes to Tom and to Donna, and I met a number of Cult of Hockey fans at the event today. A number of people came over to shake my hand and say hello, and I guess with all the so many cross interests with Tom being a big Oilers fan, long-time season ticket holder in his own right. So thinking of you tonight, Tom.
Me as well, Tom. And Bruce, you're world famous in Edmonton. All right.
Cult of Hockey. It's all about the brand.
We're just cogs in a big machine. Okay. This is our 2 good things, 2 bad things, and 2 numbers podcast about the Oilers' Battle of Alberta victory over the Calgary Flames, which was very satisfying because it put the Oilers at real 500. Real 500 always feels good to be, Bruce, because it means the playoffs. And the Oilers have now put themselves in a tie for the
Flames
playoff spot with a number of other teams for the final playoff spot in the West. Anyway, they're over there for now. Bad start. And they're at real 500. They won 4-2. We'll do 2 good things each, Bruce. What's your first good thing?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the second Oilers goal, the one scored by Jeff Skinner, and just I want to rave about it a little bit just because of the absolutely fantastic play that Jeff Skinner made to score this goal. When he went charging in on net and was able to shovel a dangerous shot that I think hit the short side post and laid in the crease while he went flying by the net. And basically his entire body was behind the goal line, diving kind of parallel to the ice. He somehow reached back, put the toe of his stick on the puck like 1 inch in front of the goal line, and was able to tuck it into the net. Like, as tuck goals go, that's one of the best ones I can remember. How the hell did he get his stick on that puck? But that's all he needed to do was touch it, and it was a goal. And goal scorers score goals, and that was a goal scorer's goal, in my opinion. That was just fantastic. About the 360th of his career, like Buddy knows where the net is. Let's put it that way. And he proved it with that brilliant effort. And
he contorted like Houdini, Bruce, from behind the net to put that in. Like he was flying through the air almost, one skate on the ice, and drooped backwards and somehow tucked that in. So
I want to see one of those Matrix views of that, where they swing the camera angles around and show the guy suspended in the air while he's going. Also, fantastic play by Zach Hyman on that goal, on the rush to go in, hold the puck up, and on a play where it looked like there was no chance to be had, Hyman's patience and Skinner's determination turned a sort of half chance into a goal. Fantastic to see. Well done.
Great puck protection from Hyman on the rush and presence of mind. He rushes in, he kind of turns his back on the player attacking him, and then he puts it over. There was also a nice pass by Skinner, just a little chip pass in the neutral zone to send Hyman in. And like, as a hockey player, a beer league hockey player, that is just a great little pass. I was just so impressed by that. Like, just the passing of the Oilers tonight, they looked really sharp, especially I thought early in the game. Their passing was very crisp, since McDavid's been out, they have raised their game. All of these players have decided, okay, enough giving it 75, 80%, where I'm going to go and try to win this game for my team. And they're all doing it. It's quite refreshing.
Well, no one player is going to replace Connor McDavid, but when you get 19 guys all raising their level, which is basically what we saw certainly in Nashville, that was a great game by the Oilers. Yeah. And tonight was a little sloppier, but, I think that they kind of had a look in the mirror and said, we needed to be better before, but without Connor, we really need to be better. And it starts with me, because, how it seems like a lot of the players sort of took it on themselves to pick it up a bit. And good on you. 2 road wins after that dreadful game in Columbus is a real nice bounce back.
The grade A shots were quite even. It was 16-15 for Calgary. Mm-hmm. And the subset of 5 alarm shots were 8-7 for Edmonton. So it's just, there's nothing to choose between the two teams in terms of expected goals.
31-31 were the shots on net.
Well, there you go. That was a very close game. And I have to say, like, I don't follow the Calgary Flames that closely. And I think I heard Frank Saravalli say before the season started, he thought the Flames were going to be better than people were giving them credit for. And I didn't know what to think about that. I was hoping it wouldn't be true, but it seems like it is true. I was impressed with some of their defensemen, like that great big guy Kevin Ball. He seemed to be on the ball, like he's making lots of plays out there, and looks like a good player. And they seem to have found some good young players that not necessarily heralded.
He caught my eye a couple times. Braden Pahal with great defensive stops.
Yeah,
he did get beat on one play, a very strong play. I think it was the play where Draisaitl somehow came away with the puck and wound up getting a shot on that from the slot. I think Pahal lost that battle, but he lost it to one of the best players in the world. But he won 2 or 3 others, and I thought, man, this guy is, for a sort of up and coming D-man, he can play defense a little bit. So
my good thing, Bruce, my first good thing, Stuart Skinner. He's been under fire recently. Lots of Oiler fans criticizing him. I've criticized him. I'm in that group. He hasn't played that well. So when that happens at Edmonton, you get criticized. He was a better goalie tonight. He was 1 goal better. And that was the difference. Like we were saying, the grade A shots were identical, but he let in 1 less of them. And that was huge in this game. And he made a number of really big stops and some fantastic saves. So it was interesting. I'll get to this later, actually, because it's part of my bad thing. So I'll talk about the stat about Skinner later. But yeah, he just was, he made some difficult stops, and he got a bit of luck right at the end there when he's lying on the ice and there was that huge scramble in front of him. That was kind of lucky.
Nothing to see here.
Exactly. But he got it done, Bruce. That's going to be a huge thing for Stuart Skinner. He's played well in the past. It's great, though. It's great that Calvin Pickard stepped up, but the Oilers do need Stuart Skinner to play well and to be a number 1 goalie. And tonight he gave an indication that it's his game's coming around, and I'm going to suggest.
Yeah, well, in Edmonton, you know how long of a grace period you have as a goalie? It's like 1 goal against. Like his second last game, he had a shutout. His second last game, he had a shutout.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah,
he
you're
went to
right.
Columbus and they got stomped and they only scored 1 goal and they were never going to win that game, but he didn't play well either. And he had, and it was like, we need a starting goalie. Let's get this guy out of here. He's no good. He took us to game 7 of
What's
the
wrong?
Stanley Cup finals. What's wrong with him?
What's wrong with his glove hand?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he
He should
always
have won
felt
game 7, 1-0. Anyway, I got I get frustrated with bad goals too, but geez, this is now a third-year goalie on a very good contract. Last year, like he's currently the 41st highest paid goaltender in the league.
Yeah.
Last year he was third in the league in wins, which is a category some people hate, but goalies themselves seem to like it.
I'll take them,
It
especially in the playoffs, Bruce, the
depends on what
wins.
team. Yeah, and he won 14 more games in the playoffs. That's right. So anyway. Uh, there's lots to like in this player. Affordable, like they got no budget for goaltending, and they're holding their own with two lower paid guys, really. Yeah.
Just checking this new website. Oh, let me see. It's there. David Johnson, who used to work for the Flames, is an
Oh,
analytics
good.
guy. He's got a website on the salaries. Here we go. It's called the Stanley Cap. This is a new website for all
Nice.
of the. I'm just gonna Stuart Skinner. Yeah, he's got one more year. Thank goodness this isn't the last year. He's got one more year, 2.6 million. Boy, the Oilers have bargain basement goaltending. Pickard at 1 million and Stuart Skinner at 2.6. Of course, they need that because they're paying a lot of money for other guys. Bruce, what's your second good thing?
Yeah, my second good thing is going to be the third goal and the game-winning goal scored by the power play in the third period with the score tied 2-2 after Edmonton had been unable to hold a 2-0 lead. This game really had the feel of next goal wins
Yeah,
at 2-all. And the power play was able to come through. Again, Zach Hyman, who made the great assist on the second goal, he actually scored the game winner, but it was a real nice four-way play between Ekholm making a play in the neutral zone to sort of turn the play around quickly. Draisaitl made a great through pass at the blue line that I thought was very close to offside, but they never even looked at it, so it must have been good because both Hyman, who stepped in front of the pass, and then Nugent Hopkins, who received the pass on the left wing. So basically, Draisaitl sent both guys in, and Nugent Hopkins, who's struggling in many aspects of his game, he delivered a beautiful pass through to Hyman, and Hyman went to his money move, the deke to the backhand and upstairs with it, that Yari Curry used to love so much, and various other, especially I've noticed right-hand shooting goal scorers like to make that move to the blocker side, where they take it to the backhand and go up with it. And Hyman is quite good at it, and he proved it again there. So now we've got Zach with 2 goals on the season tonight. I think it's his first multi-point game of the year. But this was, excellent execution by the attacking unit at a time in the game that Edmonton really needed to push back against. The flow of play was starting to go against them, and they got that power play and they made it count. And that was, in the end, the difference in the game was I think both power plays went 1 for 2 on the game, or 1 for 3. But Edmonton was was behind that 8-ball until the third period, and they were able to score one, and they were able to kill a very similar penalty off, high sticking penalty, and hang on to the lead. So good thing to the power play for coming through when it mattered most.
Yeah, I was surprised in the first 10-game segment that Nuge, I think, had the lowest average player grade of any forward. That's a first. Yeah. He has not had a solid start to the season, and that line had a few shaky moments on defense too at even strength, I thought. So, but between them, Skinner and Nugent Hopkins and Hyman.
Yeah,
But
Skinner's a bit of a high event defensive player. Sometimes he makes the
yes,
play, but sometimes he gets loses battles along the wall and so on, and doesn't really contain. And I mean, I guess
yeah,
he's not here for that, but you'd like to think all of them can do some of that.
they got to do it. They got to
Yeah,
be two-way players.
yeah.
Bruce, my second good thing is Vasily Podkolzin, the pod. He after the last game, I heard Jason Strudwick on the Got Your Back podcast, and he was remarking on how Leon's going to like playing with this guy because Podkolzin knows enough to get him the puck.
Yep.
Get the puck. And on the first play of the game,
Yep. Second game in a row.
Yeah, he wins the puck on the boards. Arvidsson gets it on the forecheck. I don't know if it might have had a bit of an impact on it. Puck goes around the boards. Podkolzin wins the puck and immediately threads a pass through a Flames defender right to Leon Draisaitl, who's on his backhand, and puts it in the net. That was a fantastic pass and a great finish, great strike by Leon. Bruce, this guy,
seconds.
I love how hard-nosed he is. He just really does play a north-south game. He gets in there on the forecheck and he hits. He tries to hit every single time.
Mm-hmm.
We will recall Ryan McLeod in the playoffs, how there's many a game where we just finish your check, put him into the boards. And there was a number of Oilers, McLeod's at the top of that list, who you had that feeling with consistently. Well, Podkolzin does it. And on a team where a lot of players don't, he stands out for hitting. Ray Ferraro on his Ray and Dregs podcast said he thought he had in Vancouver heavy boots. Now I'm not sure. Does that mean that he might be a little slow skating?
Slow skaters have heavy boots. Yeah.
I think that's what he said. I should check that. But
he's not a speedster.
He's not slow. Like he gets in there.
He's a plodding skater, but he moves his feet. It's not like he's coasting around out there. He gets there relatively fast, and he's hard on the puck. So that makes up for maybe a little lack of agility. But I'm happy with this player.
So far this year, Bruce, he has a better grade A shots plus minus, the way we're tracking players, their contributions to grade A shots and their mistakes against grade A shots against. He has a better grade A shots plus minus, significantly better than Dylan Holloway had last year. And he's essentially taken Holloway's spot in the lineup right now. And
they
so
as
for him, Dylan Holloway,
now
of course, Dylan Holloway is just a little bit younger than Podkolzin, not much, but I think it's fair to say Dylan Holloway has more potential to become a goal scorer. He showed that in the playoffs. He showed some breakaway speed and the ability to get breakaways, and he's a faster skater. But I think there's a chance that Podkolzin is going to just give as much as Holloway did last year to the Oilers, and maybe more. They both hit, and boy, did they need the Oilers need that. So they really miss Holloway's hitting, but Podkolzin makes up for it. Podkolzin's not fast like Holloway is, but I think he's a better defensive hockey player, and maybe better. Maybe he hits harder, punches harder, maybe works better with the top players because he doesn't need the puck quite as much as Holloway. I think Holloway kind of is a player who needs the puck to play his best game. Podkolzin does not. He gets the puck and he moves it. Yeah. Now some players they when they get with a big player like Leon Draisaitl, they move it too much and they lose their game. They lose what makes them special. But Podkolzin, that's not going to happen with him because he's not special with the puck. He's special moving it and forechecking. So it could be a fairly good fit. I don't know how long it's going to last, but as a third liner or as a fourth liner, he's gonna. We've seen enough of him now. So it's 12 games. I've seen enough of him. I'm confident he's going to help this team win this year. He already has. And the good news, Bruce, he's got one more year at $1 million on his contract.
2-year deal, $1 million a year. Thank you, Vancouver. Thank you, Vancouver. You sent him with the guy already signed and everything.
It was great. Yeah, now, I don't know, we don't know. Like, I can't say like how much people. I don't know if they were upset in Vancouver or what, or they just didn't think anything of it. But it's working out for Edmonton.
He was going. His career was going sideways at best in Vancouver. Like,
Yeah,
I think he went from 79 games to 39 to 19 during his entry level deal. And Vancouver was thinking they were deep enough he might not make the team and they'd lose him on waivers, so they might as well get a pick for him. Well, trade him to Edmonton. The 2-year deal in his back pocket. In a perfect world, that bites Vancouver on the ass hard. Just saying.
Well, that'll be good because Edmonton sure got bit on the butt hard with Holloway and Broberg. So
Did they ever?
If there's a little bit of turnabout in the kind of cosmic sense, it's not really with St. Louis, but with a rival, that works for me. Like, I wonder who they thought, like, why they thought he would not make the team. I guess they must have had other players. Didn't they sign one of these big guys who got injured? One of their big forward. It's that young guy who caused quite a bit of havoc.
They got Dakota Joshua, who was out.
He's out.
Now. He's just coming back. He had testicular cancer.
Oh my goodness!
But he's recovered and he's about ready to come back and play. Remember when Brandon Davidson had that? It's
they signed Kiefer Sherwood, eh? So that's the player
right.
probably who took. Right. But they probably just thought, let's bring in the veteran guy. Sherwood's 29. We can count on him more than Podkolzin. So, and he's a good player.
And they got young guys kicking at the,
They brought in Sprong and Atu Ratti is kicking. Our Deep Baines. So these are all the players. Danton Heinen and of course Jake DeBrusk they brought in. Right. So Neil Zaman. You got a lot of players there.
Neil Zaman just got waived because they didn't have room. They didn't have room, right? And that's what they didn't want to have to do with Podkolzin was waive him and lose him. So they kind of took preemptive action there. And
I guess they could have chosen him over Kiefer Sherwood.
Yep.
If they wanted.
Yep. Anyway, he's the youngest forward on the Oilers, Podkolzin, and it's not particularly close. He's 23.
Yeah.
His birthday's in June. And he's the same age as Philip Broberg, 1 day different. Drafted 10th overall in the same draft, 2019 draft. So another late bloomer, but like you say, they got the advantageous contract for 2 years. That, even if he's just sort of a plumber, well, it's a reasonable contract. But if he outperforms, it's gold. So
let's say Kiefer Sherwood replaced him in the Vancouver lineup. Kiefer Sherwood makes $1.5 million a year for 2 years. So that's significant for a bottom end player. That's a significant difference at that level of the lineup. Bruce, what's your bad thing?
Yeah, well, after all the nice things I said about the power play coming through in the third period, the second power play in the third period when they got the man advantage with 2:18 to go, a 3-2 lead, and the gift power play for too many men on the ice, and all you got to do there, I mean, it's not as easy as I'm going to make it sound, but, in theory, all you got to do there is get the puck and pass it around. You're going to have an open guy, keep possession. You don't need to, do anything foolish with the puck. Nope. So they did pass it around for maybe 15, 20 seconds, and then they failed on a play around the boards that got by Draisaitl, and out comes Vancouver, out comes Calgary, and they come into Edmonton's zone. Of course, 4-on-5. Well, once they have the puck in Edmonton's end, they can pull the goalie and make it 5-on-5. And so the Oilers came back and they came rushing in a second time. And Draisaitl, I don't know who he was passing to. I think he might have fanned on it because he was trying to pull it back to someone. And anyway, back comes Calgary on the rush again, followed by a full minute of clustering around in the defensive zone, if you get my drift. And a number of dangerous shots and chances with Edmonton on the power play, and they can't. At this point, it's 5-on-5, and they can't even get hold of the puck. And when they do, they can't get it out. And I just thought, there had to be a tidier way to put that game to bed than the chances that Calgary got with outside shots and stuff. But they killed Oilers tonight twice, as you're going to talk about, and also this really super, super dangerous pileup in front of the net with like 30 seconds left. Edmonton was still officially on the power play when that happened.
Yeah, wasn't good, Bruce.
No.
They just didn't play. They just didn't have their purpose there was to kill the clock.
Close out the game, yeah.
Close out the game. Just grind that puck, get the puck down low, and cycle it. And they didn't play it that way. They were, you don't even put it back to the point in case the point man loses it and they get a breakaway. Just dump it in the corner and get in there, outnumber them. Keep a high man at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be Hyman, but keep a high man in the three forward position.
Slot, yeah.
So there's always three guys back, and that's how you play it. And they didn't do that, and it's kind of like.
I thought the execution there was poor. I don't know if I don't think they planned to be that poor, but the execution was poor that they wound up playing chase on the power play, and there just was simpler, better ways. I mean, 5-on-5, you'd sort of have a pretty. You'd have the same plan. Well, 5-on-4, they got one fewer guy chasing the puck around. Should be able to do a little better job of hanging on to it. Anyway, it made for some nervous moments for Oil fans in the last minute of the game. But they got through it in the end. So the plus for scoring on the power play is bigger than the minus for that cluster.
Bruce, my bad things were the two Calgary goals scored in the same way, which we call Californians. Outside shots that get tipped in, as the great Californian teams did in the Decade of Darkness repeatedly against the Edmonton Oilers. And both of the Calgary goals were scored that way. And it's interesting because heading into the game, is it Jack Valaket? Steve Valaket. He's the Rangers announcer.
Former Oiler.
And he is also an analytics expert. And he was talking about Stuart Skinner's analytics. Mm-hmm. And he was saying that when it comes to rush shots against, Skinner's one of the worst goalies in the NHL. And that his forte is actually shots in his own zone. So funny enough, in this game, Skinner comes up on big on all the rush shots, makes all the saves on the rush shots, but it's the in-zone shots that get him. And they were... the one was really frustrating. I thought the first one, was it a goal? Man, they had to stick up very high. I mean, he's a huge guy. So what's the rule? You can't have it over your own shoulders, but you can have it over the crossbars as long as it's not over your own shoulders. Is that the rule?
The rule on the high sticks anywhere on the ice is over the shoulder.
Over your own shoulders. So if you're 6'5",
on the goals, it's the crossbar. So 4 feet.
So that was higher than the crossbar.
That puck went. You watch the replay and see where the tip was, and look at Ekholm's shoulder.
Yeah,
between
6'5",
the 14
6'4" Ekholm
and the blue cresting on the top of the jersey. The puck is right there, and the guy takes it down. And Ekholm is not laying down on the ice at this time. No. He's basically standing erect, and he's 6'5". And you're telling me his shoulder is 4 feet or less above the ice?
Yeah.
I have a little trouble with that math.
No, that shouldn't. I don't think that should have counted. But and then the next one was, the next one was, at least, that was on the power play. So the next one was an even strength goal. And I just think Jeff Skinner blew it. Like he should not be allowing that outside shot. He should be on that. And who was it? It was Sharabanov.
Yeah.
Got it by him, put it on net, and Perry screening the goalie, and
Sharangovich.
And then I think is it Mantha also in front of the goalie again. It's like it's two guys screening, and Skinner's not making the play at the point. That was a really disappointing goal against. Now some people would say the goalie should also have that. He should work through the screen, and I used to really subscribe to that religiously. Like the goalie should always make that save, but what you realize is
Anthony really Mantha casts a pretty large shadow at the edge of the crease. I'll just say that.
Yeah,
he is huge man.
It's just not possible for the goal. Like, you could say the goalie should work.
He threw his glove out there in the general spot, but the puck just skimmed above his glove and caught just inside the post. Yeah. It perfect wrist shot from, to use the traffic to advantage.
And I thought they were going to get another one. There was one play, and I think I was trying to figure out who isn't covering the point, and I think it was Connor Brown, actually, who was deep in his own zone. And there was a couple wide open looks with about 5 minutes left in the third where they're just firing away at will from the point. And I just like, who's the winger there?
Yeah.
And as far as I could tell, it was Brown who had crept low. And anyway, it was one of those things, I think, where the lines were mixed up, and maybe Brown thought he was playing the center position, and it was a mess.
Yeah.
But two were enough, Bruce. Two of those, like your team doesn't get any of those goals, which often come down to, like, there's a huge amount of luck in scoring that kind of goal, and you need to execute them, and you need to try to execute. Like, you need to try to get those goals all the time. They're great goals to get, but it's very frustrating when the other team gets two of them and you get none, and it's 2-2 late in the game. So that's and you've been up 2-0 in the game on two really nice goals.
Yeah.
And they come back that way, but that is hockey. So
they all count them the same. I mean, the one, I didn't think it should have counted at all, but that's already 2 games into the Battle of Alberta season series, and Calgary's already won 3 out of 3 video challenges. They were all, I think the one was offside, that was cut and dry, but the other 2 were both really borderline. But whatever.
Yeah.
When the game is over and you've won it, you can kind of be a little more phlegmatic about it than at the time. I was not a happy camper because I thought Connor Brown got flagrantly tripped to the ice in the Calgary end.
Yeah, he did.
And the refs that hadn't called anything all game didn't call that either. And I thought, okay, fine, they're not going to call anything. And then 30 seconds later, same shift, they called Henrique. And then, of course, that power play, Calgary scores on the high tip. And I'm going, well, 3 calls there, all kind of borderline. All of them went Calgary's way, and they're on the board. And now it's game on. So anyway,
and that
life
too
goes
is hockey.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What's your number, Bruce?
Yeah, my number is 939, and this is the career save percentage of Stuart Skinner against the Calgary Flames.
Wow.
He's now 5-2-0 in 7 games against Calgary, and he has allowed 14 goals. Anyway, he's got a no, wait a minute. He played most of another game. He came in relief for, I think it was Campbell. He came in relief and pitched a shutout, but they couldn't quite come back. So he's played 8 games against them in total and got decisions in 7. And 939 with a 2.06 goals against average. And particularly, I haven't done the splits for home road, but in the Saddle Dome, he is a monster. Calgary can't beat him. The Oilers have won 7 straight games now in the Saddle Dome, going back to playoffs in 2022. Of course, Mike Smith was the goalie record then, but since then it's been Stu Skinner doing all the Battle of Alberta work in Calgary, and Edmonton has won a lot of low-scoring games. So, a little credit to the keeper. It wasn't a clean game from him. He had a couple of real bad miscues behind the net, kind of getting crossed up with his own defenseman, and a couple of sloppy rebounds. But man, he was battling to keep pucks out with all the pressure and screening and stuff, and mostly succeeding. And I would imagine Calgary fans have a different opinion of Stu Skinner than maybe Edmonton fans do. I'd like to hear it, because he's beaten them with excellent performances more than once.
Bruce, my number is 6. It's the number of points Leon Draisaitl has accumulated since Connor McDavid got injured. 6 points in 2 games.
Not bad.
He's got 3 goals and 3 assists in those games. Not bad for Leon Draisaitl. He caught the notice of Don Cherry, none other than Don Cherry, now 90 years old and still doing his the Grapevine podcast. And of course, they asked Don how he thought the Oilers were going to do with McDavid out, and he says he didn't know because you just don't know. But he says you watch Draisaitl. Draisaitl always picks it up, and the transcription on the Apple podcast with the transcript actually said dice and then idle.
That's where
Two
that
different
came
words.
from. That's great.
Dice,
Yeah.
idle.
I read your headline. I thought I can hear Don Cherry saying this.
Yes. So he always, I think like he always like there's hardly a foreign player's name, European player's name that he does not mangle. He's famous for it. And I think, are those called malapropisms with names too, or just with words, or just with
definitely with
words?
That's malapropism is actually named after a baseball announcer who was famous for him.
Oh yeah.
He would said, you know, he'd say things like the center fielder is chasing the ball. Oh, he hit his head off the wall. It's rolling towards second base.
I worked with a fellow reporter who called like anecdotes. He would say like anecdotes, which are, you know, little stories about things. He would always call them antidotes. So, but you know what? I'm sure if you listen to the Cult of Hockey podcast enough, you will hear us mispronounce names, especially foreign names and different players'
Even
names.
when we got them right, David, we got hell for it. So
yes, but the Philip Broberry controversy, the great Philip Broberry controversy. So anyway, he called him Leon Draisaitl, and I thought, you know, that's kind of fitting because Leon he's a gambling kind of player out there. So the old being a Draisaitl, it conjures up in the image of a gambling hockey player who's actually really good at it. So anyway, I just thought that was really funny.
Rolling the crafts, beautiful women hanging off his arms while he's doing it. You know, the whole
martini glass tuxedo. Leon should wear a tuxedo.
Great hair.
Yeah, great hair. Anyway, he has stepped up, not unexpectedly.
Not unexpectedly.
Fantastic. It will do again wonders for his reputation as a hockey player, because you know all this. Although he doesn't really need it. I mean, by now he's cemented his place in the game. When he first did it in 2019-20, there was more skepticism about him as a player. Now he's widely considered, you know, one of the top 5 players in the world, if not one of the, you know, top 3 maybe. You know, I think it's fair to say top 5. So anyway, Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah,
Bruce?
well, he's got now 8 even strength goals this year, the power play merchant. I understand Chelsea Sid had a comment about that he was tied for the league lead with in even strength goals. The guy that's always being accused of being a power play merchant because he is a fantastic power play goal scorer. He's the best in the league. But so far this year, he's got 8 at even strength and 1 on the power play, so 9 goals.
It's a good line. It's a good line.
That is, yeah.
Arvidsson's really firing that.
One out of Arvidsson is flying.
He's firing that
3
puck,
or 4 games, yeah, and he's just flying around out there, buzzing around, and making stuff happen. Made a couple of beautiful passes tonight to Podkolzin.
Yeah, you got Podkolzin and a nice shot in the slot there, didn't he?
Yep.
Podkolzin also made a big mistake in the slot in the second period. He left the guy wide open, but that happens to every player now and then. All right, Bruce, they play New Jersey tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night they play New Jersey. I've been racking my brain, David, and I don't think I can remember a single time where the Oilers had a road trip of this length, 4 or more games that took them into the Eastern time zone and, you know, lasted over a week. And yet they come off the road and they play at the home on their first day back. Right? Usually they got at least 1 day, and standard was 2, you know, finish the road trip on Sunday, play Wednesday kind of thing. But here, because of the
tough one.
Well, there was a concert in Saddle Dome last night, or I'm sure the game. I was surprised the game wasn't on Hockey Night in Canada last night, so I thought it's a concert. I bet now the Arkells were in Calgary last night, and tomorrow they got this damn Apple Prime.
That's
what is it? Amazon Prime Monday night games, and they wanted to get the Oilers, and
so a lot of people won't be able to watch the game because of that.
Yeah. So, but it's not to Edmonton's advantage on the schedule, even a tiny bit.
What time is it? Is it at 8?
6:30, I believe. It's a 6:30
good. At least
game, and
it's
I think
early.
that's standard fare for
The Amazon Prime
for
games.
these Amazon Prime games. So
Well, we'll see how it works. You can watch it, can you?
I can watch it. Good luck watching. The 10-second rewind is hopeless.
Oh, we'll see how that
And we
works.
rely on that quite a lot, especially for doing our scoring chances.
Oh, for sure.
I'm always sort of during commercials going back. What did I miss? What I missed? And let's watch it. Watch the high event plays a couple extra times and stuff. But whatever. At least the game is on. The other thing you can't do is record it.
I know.
So there may be it's cached somewhere, by Amazon.
There is. After the game, you can go back and watch it, I think.
Oh, good. Okay.
So.
All right.
Anyway, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, it's a particular bother for us because of our grade A shots project, right? Like we go over these plays, during the game. You were grading the game tonight. I'm going over the grade. Like I'm watching them 5, 10, sometimes 15, 20 times, like the really complicated plays.
Yep.
And it's hopefully that'll be easy to do with the Amazon interface, but that's yet to be seen. I think I might have to watch it on my computer here to do that, though. All right, Bruce. Thanks for talking tonight.
Guess we'll be back here tomorrow night, David.
We will.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.